Welcome to this post of RC Revolt. Today we're back with the TrailRunner from Element, the Enduro platform here. So we've made some updates. Let's go see how they do on our rocks, our favorite trails. So let's start off with the electronics. It's got the famous Hobbywing 1080 in there, not the new revision of that, an original one I had laying around. And the motor we went with is a Holmes Hobbies Crawlmaster 13 turn. You can throw one of those in anything brushed and make it better. So here we are on the Sweetwater bypass. You can really see that IFS working, which brings us to another mod. So this has the Night Custom shorter riser in there to make the clearances and geometry more accurate for a shorter tire. That was 3D printed in PETG. Moving further down the list, in suspension mods, right, we have almost no preload, a little bit of elastic band trying to pull the tires back up, and then 80 weight oil in the shocks. So here, along with us today, we've got the old Blazer. This is a TRX4 that's pretty much stock. It's got a bunch of okay, it's not stock. It's got a bunch of brass. It's kind of a brass hole. It does have reduced gearing, and while running it today, I was in second gear the whole time, just user error. And then we have our friend Cliffy here as a baseline showing us how it's done. This is a G-Speed chassis, Hyrax tires in G8 today. So here on Struggle Hill, we're gonna see how those Hyrax do. So these are the Class 1 Hyrax. Still a shorter tire, definitely not 475. They're also running a printed TPU insert. We figure out that insert's probably a little stiff, but it is a big step up in traction. And then as we pull around through the sun here, you can see that sun shining right through the body. I really like this orange paint. It also comes in white, which looks sharp, but it's a little thin. So I think I need to go in there and back that with some black and darken it up just a little bit. Checking out the downhill, the 1080 with the Holmes Crawlmaster. Nice and controlled. I can get it to just roll and creep like I want. I may actually use the programmer and turn down the drag brake a little bit, get it to roll a little smoother. So what we're testing today on the Blazer is these VXT tires. So these are the complementary tires that came with my Phoenix kit, and that might be a good tire. So here on the TrailRunner, we're on Nugget, which is a comp rated trail. It's a hard line. The entry point's pretty hard. I don't think it's going to make it. So we're going to use that kinetic winch. Grab a rock here. And so this is just an elastic band looped around some 3D printed parts inside. And it's just enough nose down weight that now we can just crawl right up. If you, here on Nugget, if you keep the line, you can walk up that seam, that crack. We'll get the hook to disconnect. There we go. Now, if you do your job, you got enough turning radius, you can walk right up, grab the top, and pull out. Nope, not gonna make it. Right. Take it easy, camera guy. I got this.
Winch me.
Alright, maybe I don't. So when your camera guy uses a bush to pull you up, works pretty good, except there's no disconnecting. So this is abduction point here, and the line is the crack that you see running down the middle. If you keep driver's side in that crack, it'll walk right up. Most rigs will. Box stock was unable to do this until modified. Had to use the winch. But Hyrax gripped, It's got a good, out of the box, it was almost a 60-40 weight bias. Now I've got a little bit of brass in these tires. It's not crazy like Blazer is here. Um, I think I could actually like these VXT tires. You can put me down as narrow tire curious. Now these are more 3D printed with TPU tire inserts, so that's what we're out here today. It's a tall, narrow tire. It looks better on this older Blazer. Um, yeah. Then Cliffy's going to show us how it's done. Just walk right up and grab the seam. No problem at all. So this is outside of our normal circuit here. So occasionally there's helper rocks and people try to make this line, but without them it's pretty much impossible. So let's see what we can do with the winch. I should add that to the electronics, I added a new servo and so I have the BEC set to 7.4 volts, and in the first gen of 1080, it's only a 3 amp BEC. So I needed a glitch buster to avoid brownouts. Here we are in sweet spot. Let's see what these VXTs got. Nice, no problem at all. So his portals give you the clearance to make that entrance on this one. Now, sweet spot was a real struggle. Alright, so the air dam box stock was definitely not going to crawl. Now, this is the included bumper that comes in the Element Enduro box. You get to choose a couple of options. You can cut up that air dam. You can assemble this bumper a couple of different ways. It's still a little grabby, but if you work it, it works. So the Class 1 Hyrax is a little taller than the 385 grabbers it came with. And it's a good compromise all around. And we see that we got a lot more grip than we did with those grabbers. So this is the seam on Side Hill. And sure wish I would have realized that I was in second gear. Would have been able to crawl this a lot more controlled. Nope. Just getting worse. Thank you, camera guy. Somebody should really get a dead cat for their GoPro if they're outside filming in the wind, huh? Alright, so night and day difference here with the new servo. Now, we're going to see some pilot error. This wasn't my day to make the seam, but I was able to recover without swamping the servo. So if I do my part, the car now does its part. The servo used is a DS630 from ProModeler, and this is our go-to if running off a BEC. It's making about 550 inches in this configuration. Really solid servo. Also a big fan of the direct power coming out of Holmes. But the ProModeler was in the parts bin this time. It was the right tool for the job. Again, I did use that glitch buster. Just because the first gen 1080 BEC is a little bit underpowered. Alright, so this is a big boy line, another comp rated. And being lower to the ground, the Enduro has the ups to go and hang on this line. But we need to come back and revisit that tire insert, just not getting the compliance needed out of that Hyrax. See, I also added the roof rack in there. This is in the box. You get to install that, and the drill points are nicely dimpled on the body. You can find them. I do recommend using some shoe goo on these accessories, the scale accessories, the mirrors, the windows, and things. Otherwise, you might walk home with a pocket full of parts. But
It's your inserts.
it's a good kit.
Too stiff?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, you can see they're not, your rear tire
Not conforming.
not conforming.
Oh, I also, to make the Class 1s fit, I used, hey, take it easy, camera guy, I got this. There are plastic wheel well liners on the body. I took those off, but they also make a real nice cutting guide. If you just cut along the outside of that, the Class 1 will fit perfectly. And like I said, this is a little bit lowered with some elastic straps as well. Stock springs for now. 80 weight oil really helped slow it down, for my style of crawling at least. And then you can see I also trimmed the rear bumper higher and off. Or I'm sorry, the rear of the body. I'm still looking for a bumper, but I do have that MagnaFlow exhaust. Left that as a nod to scale. And hey, we made it. Alright, so Blazer is normally a little wider than this. And this line is called tipping point. I'm kind of missing that width. Nice wrinkle on the fronts there and the rear. I feel like the inserts are dialed here. Again, those are printed out of TPU. Playing with a couple of different designs, but yeah, the Pilot really missed that line. Should have come out and swung wide. Tipping point's a favorite for us. We play it by golf, right? So we always, like golf, we always play the course as we find it. There's usually different amounts of helper rocks placed in here. It's a little sparse today. If you'd come out and made that swing a little wider, could have squared up to the climb. You can hear that Traxxas whine in there from the stock electronics. Yeah, I think Blazer's due for an upgrade.
Good spot.
I do like the sliders on here. Some people love, some people hate sliders. They're working well with this wide body. This TrailRunner is a real wide one. And the same Pilot made the same mistake on the entry here. Should have swung a little wider, but I think we'll get it.
Oh, stuck on the MagnaFlow exhaust.
So it's not actually torque twist that makes that front driver's side pull up like that. It's just the IFS letting it all hang out. Again, softer inserts, I think this would have grabbed and walked right up.
I don't think he was just.
This is a nice tricky climb coming out of tipping point. And you actually lose traction as you come around that corner. And I have to work for it. Catch up with the boys already at the top of the hill. Alright, Blazer, the big guy, can do it. Let's see what the element's got. Yeah, no problems on the climb. Let's go and test that downhill. So this is a pretty steep one, even though the camera doesn't make it look that gnarly. Yeah, still a little bit stutter in the downhill. Probably going to turn down the drag brake, try and get a nice roll out of it.
Oh, you went to this one.
I'm gonna push it up.
Yeah, so
Oh,
bellied
you're
up on the rock there. Just don't have the clearance with the smaller tires. So let's go grab something with portals and nice tall ones. Give it a little bump. There we go. Alright. To finish this off, we've got the climb on Horsepile Hill. And let's see how we do. Again, I was unable to do this without winching. Box stuck. If there's traction there, the Hyrax will find it. Just let them chew. Alright. Good job, TrailRunner. Thanks for watching.